Over the course of human history, strange things have fallen from the sky. From the biblical plague of frogs to UFOs and the occasional pieces of space rock. On the 3rd of March 1876, such an event took place near Olympia Springs, Kentucky. It may not have rained cats and dogs that morning, but something just as odd and disturbing did rain down, namely chunks of unidentified meat. Our story starts on the farm of the family Crouch, where Mrs. Crouch and her grandson were working outside when, despite open clear skies, fleshy bits started raining down around them. These chunks of meat rained out of the sky for several minutes, covering an area of roughly the size of 3/5 of a soccer field. Between 50 and 100 pieces of oddly shaped mystery meat were collected in this area, with chunks of different sizes, the bigger ones being 5 on 5 centimeters and 10 on 10 centimeters. That's right, people, we're using the metric system. Oh, the horror! The unidentified meaty lumps were said to have veined tissue and a penetrating odor. Apparently, several residents also gathered some of it, cooked and ate it, describing the taste resembling that of venison or mutton. Now, I mainly have one question about that.
Why?
Surprisingly, nobody got sick or died after eating the smelly mystery meat that fell from the sky. But I highly doubt it was some gourmand cuisine. The entire thing might sound like one of those tall tales you hear down at the local bar, but unlike similar weird happenings, this meat shower has been pretty well documented with evidence to boot. National media jumped on the news and several newspapers published articles about the meat shower with a bit of sensational embellishment here and there. Collected meat chunks were shipped for scientific examination to determine the origins of the mysterious meat pieces. Now, back then, a scientific examination was most likely throwing it under a basic microscope and staring at it, since they obviously didn't have DNA testing in those days. After the examination, the general consensus was that the strange chunks were animal muscle tissue, but precise species identification was impossible. Yet possibilities ranged from horse, cow, sheep, and even bear meat. With speculation running wild between a few embellishing newspapers and some sensationalists, there was even a theory that the meat was actually human flesh, specifically that of children, to set the stage for some sort of apocalyptic scenario. That said, there was no indication of any human remains among the studied pieces of tissue. Now that we kinda have an inkling of what this mystery meat is, the biggest question still looms. Why and how were chunks of animal meat raining down from the sky? As always, there are several theories, some more bizarre than others. Back then people were a lot more superstitious, so the fear of a divine punishment quickly popped up. Perhaps for some unknown reason, the people of this specific farm had angered the great god of charcuterie, thus he rained down hell upon them, in the shape of a bunch of rotten chunks of meat for a few minutes. That'll teach those pesky humans. Imagine his surprise when some randos threw it on a grill and had a barbecue party. Other theories involve a whirlwind swooping the meat into the sky, or a water geyser shooting it airborne somehow. And of course, the all-time favorite, timeless classic, it was aliens. Our final theory is the one that is generally assumed to be the most plausible. That said, it's still very weird. The theory being puking vultures. Yes, you heard me correct. Puking vultures. No divine intervention, no forces of nature gone wild, no cheeky aliens, just a bunch of overfed vultures vomiting all over the place. Classy. The turkey vulture that is native to this area, and vultures in general, have this distasteful ability to quickly reduce their body weight for easier flight by emptying the contents of their stomach. Since turkey vultures usually fly in large groups, it's apparently possible they will perform this neat little trick in unison, hence creating a rain of chunky vomit for anyone unlucky enough to be present down below. This theory is the most plausible because it doesn't involve any mysterious unknown or supernatural elements. This behavior in vultures has also been very well documented by zoologist sources, and it explains most of the unknowns of the phenomenon. The only loose thread would be that people present during the meat shower had not seen any vultures. But this can be countered by the fact the vomiting birds could have been flying at a very high altitude, plus the event only lasted a few minutes. And nobody is going to be taking up bird watching while being pelted by slabs of stinky meat. That was the Kentucky meat shower of 1876. One of the more sillier, wackier phenomenons out there, caused by a flock of puking vultures that, or there is one very pissed off charcuterie god out there.